This is the first time we are doing something like this on the online teaching program. We have been doing a teaching program under the aegis of the academy for the last more than 12 years. Due to this pandemic, we are forced to do it online, and we are trying to follow the guidelines for the cases as given by the DNB. Uh, what we expect to do is we have two teachers per case, and they have got cases which are there on their computer on PowerPoint, and they'll be presenting the case under four people who are there, and I'll read out their names. They are the people who will be answering the questions mainly. Uh, the first case, uh, okay, the first case will be by Dr. Satyavan Sharma and Dr. Hema Kulkarni. And the person who will be answering is Dr. Rajesh Natwa from Hyderabad. The second case will be by Dr. Ajit Desai and Dr. Darshan Jala, and that will be answered by Dr. Saurabh Dharia from Mumbai. The third case is by Dr. Bharat Dalvi and Dr. Hetan Shah, and it will be answered by Dr. Saurabh Kapadia from Mumbai Jaslok Hospital. And the last case will be by Dr. Parag Balgat and Dr. Charan Lanjewar, and that will be answered by Dr. Amit Oswal from Narayana, Bangalore. Now, what we request is all others, please put your mics on mute. Uh, Once the session starts, if anybody has any questions, they can put it in the chat box. I'll be operating the chat box and managing the time. And whatever questions, relevant questions are there in the chat box, we'll put it to the experts and ask them to answer your questions to the best of their ability. If we keep the mics on, there will be a lot of commotion. At the end of these four cases, at around 12 o'clock, noon time, we will have a sports session, which is also been recommended by the DNB, and it will go on for about between 60 to 90 minutes, and it will be conducted by Dr. Jhala, Dr. Asit Shah, and all the other faculties who are available. So there also there are people who should volunteer. They can give me their name, and in the chat box they can put their names and this, so that they can come ahead and answer the questions. And each spot will be for about 3 to 5 minutes. So we'll try to accommodate all sorts of spots in those 1 to 1.5 hours that is with us. So once Dr. Satyavan Sharma sir logs in, we will immediately start the proceedings. And Dr. Hema Kulkarni, Dr. Satyavan Sharma was having some issues with logging. Has Dr. Satyavan Sharma logged in? Mr. Sanjay Agashi, has Dr. Satyavan Sharma logged in? I'm really overwhelmed by the amount of response that we are receiving. We already see about 100 people who have joined in. So I hope next time we will be able to do even better with this experience. This is the first time ever it is being done. So we have restricted ourselves to 4 cases and spots. More people volunteer to present cases, we will be able to do better. Satyavan Sharma sir, is he here? Bharat, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So ask Dr. Sharma whether you can start, and whether Dr.
Sharma
or
can
Ajit wants to. Is Ajit there? Hello, Ajit? Ajit Desai? Dr. Ajit Desai? I'll just check with Dr. Satyan Sharma. If he's not able to log in for some reason, I think Bharat, we should start with your case, and we can have Dr. Saurabh Kapadia answering your case. Just
No
2 minutes.
problem.
Give it.
Bluetooth auxiliary enabled.
Hello, Ajit, Dr. Ajit Desai. Hello, Dr. Ajit Desai. Unmute yourself, please. Hello, Dr. Ajit Desai.
Hello.
Hello, Ajit
Hello.
Desai.
Yes.
Can you start because Dr. Satyan Sharma is having problem logging, so you can start early.
Okay.
And you will have Dr. Saurabh. Yeah, Hetan, bolo.
सर फ्री रहे तो अटेंड करो ना वो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ मेडिसिन में शेयर किया
Hello. Yeah, Hetan.
मास्टर टीचर जस्ट
Hello.
अभी स्टार्ट हुआ अभी
Yeah, what do you want? What do you want for? Hello. Hello.
हाँ
Sanjay, can you make Dr. Ajit Desai the presenter, please?
देखो 4 केसेस है स्पॉटर्स है
Who's speaking?
ठीक है सर ओके चलेगा सर
Other than the faculty, please mute all. Please mute your. Yeah, Ajit, you are the presenter. Jhala is
Yeah.
also there, so we can start. And your candidate is going to be Dr. Saurabh Dharia. So let Dr. Saurabh Dharia, are you there?
Satyavan
Saurabh
Sharma has
Dharia?
arrived.
Satyavan
Good morning, sir. I am there, sir.
Satyan Sharma has arrived. Then let us start with Dr. Satyan Sharma. Hema, I cannot see. Dr. Hema Kulkarni, I can't see anywhere.
Then let us start. Then they will get adjusted after some time. Take them as a second case.
So let Dr. Satyan Sharma start.
No. Let us. We will start. I and Ajit will start, and they
Okay.
can join. They'll just come in.
Okay. Dr. Ajit Desai, I'll just check with what has happened with whether.
Ajit Desai, we will start.
Yeah,
Hello?
let me get Saurabh Dharia online. Hello.
We will start.
शर्मिला नीरजला बोल.
हा चल मग ऑनलाईन ये अजित देसाई चालू करतो आणि झाला. Okay. Okay. So Saurabh Dharia is there. So let's start. Ajit, start with your case, please. Let's not waste time.
Share.
Ajit, Dr. Ajit
Hello.
Desai.
Yeah, can you hear
start,
me?
please. Yeah, we
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saurabh
one sec.
Dharia is also
One
there.
sec. Okay. Okay.
You are there. Jhala
morning,
is there
sir.
and
Good
Saurabh
morning,
Dharia.
sir.
3 main people.
Can I start?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Saurabh and
Yes,
Darshan.
sir. I am there.
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Good. Okay, Saurabh, this is the case.
Yes, sir.
The patient is a 30 years old female, married since the last 10 years, with one child about 6 years back, born of a non-consanguineous marriage. And she has come with history of dyspnea since last 5 years, varying between grade 2 to grade 3 NYHA classification.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Lot of
sir.
noise. History of angina since the last 2 years. And she also has a history of pre-syncope since the last 6 months. extending the history further, as far as dyspnea is concerned, she is gradually progressive since the last 5 years, from NYHA class 2 to presently coming to about NYHA class 3. She also had history of PND present about 3 months back, for which she thought a lot of noise coming.
There is somebody's
Not
mic
from my
which is
side,
on.
sir.
Can you put off
Many
the
mics are on.
mics?
Many mics are on, sir. Many mics.
Can we have all the mics off except the presenter and could we have all mics off, please? Otherwise, it will be no fun. Please, all mics off except the presenter, Dr. Ajit Desai and Dr. Jhala, and the responder, Dr. Saurabh Daria. All mics off, please. Yeah, go on. Dr. Ajit Desai, please. Oh,
Last 2 years. Am I muted?
Now you are okay.
Okay. One sec. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear.
sir. We can. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. All right. And okay, as I was seeing, the dyspnea was gradually progressive since the last 5 years, going in from NYHA class 2 to presently about NYHA class 3. She had history of paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea present about 3 months back, for which she sought medical advice and was started on medications for the same.
Yes, sir.
She also has history of angina, exertional angina, almost grade 2, since the last 2 years, and the angina is quite typical, suggestive of typical anginal pains. She also had history of pre-syncope, wherein patient complaints of giddiness. I think there is a lot of noise coming in. Hello. Patient complaints of giddiness and lightheadedness on exertion since the last 6 months.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
And lightheadedness on exertion since the last 6 months, with no history of fall or loss of consciousness. Going further into the
पे कंप्यूटर से
history,
कर रहे हैं
no history of palpitation of hemoptysis, no history
पहले
of
आता
pedal
ना एकदम
edema.
हाँ ऑडियो ऑप्शन इसमें माइक ग्रीन है
Can
नीचे
you,
वो होता
can
है ना
you
टर्न
please
ऑन द माइक्रोफोन
mute the mics?
ग्रीन है मींस इट इज
Can you hear me now?
कुछ
Hello?
नहीं सुनाई दे
Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
We can hear you.
Yeah, there is no history of palpitation, hemoptysis, no history of pedal edema, no history suggestive of rheumatic fever in childhood. There is no history of prolonged fever requiring hospitalization. Past history: during pregnancy, patient developed breathlessness during the second trimester of her pregnancy, for which she was admitted to the hospital and was treated medically. Her delivery was by the cesarean section due to diagnosed valvular heart disease. I think some mic is on. Is that Kaustubh? I think you will have to take care. There is too much of disturbance on the mic.
okay. Sanjay, is there any way that I can put all the mics off? This iPhone, somebody's iPhone is. Oh, I see all the
Sir,
mics
admins
off.
can do that, sir. Admins can do the all other mics off, sir.
Yeah, but I see all the mics off. I can't see any mics on. Unless there is some background noise coming from some train or something or something. All mics are off.
Okay.
I confirm that. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So the past history is during pregnancy, patient developed breathlessness during the second trimester, for which she was admitted to the hospital and was treated medically. Her delivery was by the cesarean section due to the diagnosed valvular heart disease. After delivery, patient was started on medications and an injection. However, she was irregular with the same, but she remained asymptomatic for almost about 1 to 1.5 years till the time now that she has presented with the presenting symptoms of dyspnea, angina, and near syncope. Okay, Saurabh? Hello?
Saurabh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Respond.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I'm there.
Okay.
respond.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Uh,
the first question for you is which are the cardiac conditions which are better tolerated in pregnancy, and what are the physiological
Sir,
changes in the hemodynamics during pregnancy?
usually, sir, regurgitant lesion like mitral regurgitation, aortic regurgitation, regurgitant lesion are better tolerated in pregnancy, sir. In currently with physiological changes as the pregnancy progresses, there is a vascular volume, the hemodynamic dilution occurs, the volume overload occurs, and that poses the stress on the heart. Stroke volume increases, then hemodilution occurs.
Saurabh, the question is very specific. What are these physiological changes in the hemodynamics which occur during pregnancy? So we have to take the pregnancy into 3 parts: the first trimester, the second trimester, and the third trimester. So what are the changes which you expect during the trimesters?
Sir, for first trimester, there is heart, not much changes considering hemodynamics, little bit increase in the hemodilution, that is increased volume, and not much stress in the on the heart during the first trimester. Second trimester, there is a much hemodilution with increased intravascular volume, and there is also decreased peripheral vascular resistance, and that in the second trimester usually they present with they are the prone for the development of the pregnancy induced hypertension. And third trimester is the very crucial, where the most important stage is the second stage of labor, which heart has to go through the lots of stress due to maximum volume overload and hemodilution stress.
Saurabh, the question was very specific in the sense what happens to the cardiac output during the first trimester, what happens to the
Yes.
cardiac output during the second trimester, and what happens to the cardiac output during the third trimester and the related problems. Okay. So
Yes,
this has to be emphasized basically in the trimester, the cardiac output and what happens to the hemodynamics. The second question is, you know that the patient is presenting with history of angina and syncope. So this is one of the most common and very detrimental presenting symptoms in a patient who has got aortic stenosis. Okay. The
Yeah.
question
Yes,
first is, besides aortic stenosis, which are the
Hello.
besides aortic,
Hello.
Who's that? Please put your mic on mute. Yeah, go ahead.
hello, Saurabh, the question is, besides aortic stenosis, which are the conditions Saurabh, which are the conditions which may present with angina,
Saurabh, can you use headphones?
Yes,
no,
I'm
it's not
using
him.
headphones, sir. I'm using.
It's not him. I
headphones.
think some mic is on. Okay.
I can't see him on mic. That's the whole problem. They're all are
Okay.
off.
So what are the
Anyway,
mechanism?
follow.
Okay, Saurabh, the question
Yes,
is,
sir.
besides aortic stenosis, which are the cardiac conditions which may present with angina as the presenting symptom?
Sir, patient with hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy can present with angina and syncope.
Very good. Yeah.
Other like patient having underlying coronary artery disease and have the precipitated factor like anemia or arrhythmia can present like syncope.
Yeah, arrhythmia can present. Any other very, very important situation which can present with angina and syncope besides the aortic
Sir,
stenosis?
primary pulmonary hypertension can present like syncope and angina because of right ventricular infarction or right ventricular dysfunction, sir.
Very, very good. Okay. So what are the mechanisms of angina and syncope and aortic stenosis?
So there is a supply demand mismatch where there is a LV hypertrophy and there is a decreased the perfusion pressure, and second thing there is basically hypertrophy that the supply of the coronaries which is not enough for the survive, and second thing there is a prolonged
Yep.
LV ejection
One which you said is the
demand
supply.
mismatch, sir.
Yes, supply mismatch.
Demand
Then
mismatch.
what other things?
Second there is the prolongation of LV ejection time which decreases the diastole, which decreases the coronary perfusion time that causes angina symptoms, sir.
Okay. What about syncope?
Syncope because sir there is a transient because of transient hypoperfusion, the stroke volume reduced significantly in aortic stenosis, which leads to cause the transient hypoperfusion of the cerebral circulation.
Syncope in aortic stenosis is what? Is it an exertional syncope or what?
Usually it is exertional syncope because tachycardia
said-
reduces the yes.
You have to say that it is usually
Yes, sir.
exertional syncope with the peripheral
Yes, sir.
vasodilation which occurs. The demand, the supply to the cerebrum goes down, and that's one of the causes of the syncope in aortic stenosis. Okay.
Yes,
Any other
yes, sir.
mechanism of syncope or angina in patients who have got valvular aortic stenosis or subvalvular aortic stenosis, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy? What
So they
about-
might have the ventricular tachycardia which leads
That's right,
to
ventricular arrhythmias. Very good.
arrhythmia. Yes.
With this also we have considered besides the arrhythmias. Yeah. Jala,
Yes, sir.
please take over.
Yes. Yeah.
The importance of history of palpitation in valvular heart disease. Saurabh?
Yes, sir.
What are you worried about as far as palpitations in valvular heart disease is concerned?
Then palpitation are exertional, likely to be volume overload palpitation, considering they are the probably because of regurgitation, regurgitant lesion like aortic regurgitation or mitral regurgitation, and the
You can categorize the palpitations as regular palpitations and irregular palpitations.
yes, sir, a regular palpitation with which are likely to be on exertion, likely because of volume overload, and irregular
Yeah.
palpitation may be at rest, likely because of arrhythmia, valvular heart disease, considering likely to be atrial fibrillation or atrial arrhythmia or flutter fibrillation types.
Saurabh,
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Saurabh, my suggestion is, Saurabh,
Yes, sir.
my suggestion is don't say likely, say the
Yeah.
conditions. It's very irritating. When you say irregular palpitations, you say atrial fibrillation.
Yes, sir.
When you say volume overload, don't say volume overload, say mitral regurgitation, aortic regurgitation. That keeps it short and simple.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as palpitation is concerned and the problems and the underlying pathology is concerned, which are the lesions which are most affected symptomatically?
The aortic regurgitation, severe aortic regurgitation with palpitation likely to be tolerated better way, but
So they are
stenotic,
asking about which are affected most symptomatically.
the stenotic lesions are most affected symptomatically, like mitral stenosis
Or
or aortic stenosis, both.
yeah, which is the problem with aortic stenosis or mitral stenosis? What is it?
The stenosis forward flow is affected because of stenotic lesions like mitral stenosis in the in the left AV valve and aortic valve LVOT obstruction that causes decreased stroke volume.
So in such situations, Saurabh, if the patient in a stenotic lesion tends to get arrhythmia of atrial fibrillation, what happens to there?
Sir, the atrial kick is lost. That's why the patient will become that last atrial contraction has much more importance during this valvular lesions. And if there is already underlying diastolic dysfunction or systolic dysfunction as well in aortic stenosis, they might have loss of atrial contraction because of atrial fibrillation causes more symptomatic.
That is particularly relevant as far as aortic stenosis is concerned. Yeah. The next question.
Yes, sir.
What is the prevalence of tricuspid valve involvement in rheumatic heart disease?
Sir, isolated involvement is very rare, like in less than 5%. Associated with mitral regurgitation might be within 5 to 10%.
Only with mitral regurgitation?
Other associated like mitral stenosis and aortic stenosis.
What is the prevalence
More of mitral stenosis?
What is the prevalence of tricuspid valve involvement in rheumatic heart disease who has got a mitral valve disease? Organic
25%.
25%?
20%.
No?
No, I am not telling. So it is very less, not that high. Yeah.
Symptoms of heart failure?
They'll right heart failure, so they will present with edema, lower limb. Then there will be breathlessness, and there will be ascites.
Okay, all signs of raised venous pressure.
JVP.
Correct?
Yes. Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
what is, as you said, breathlessness? What is the mechanism of breathlessness in right heart failure?
There is a right heart failure.
Yeah.
It's more, yes, sir. Because of increased, first of all, right ventricular failure because of increased pulmonary arterial hypertension. That leads
No, we are
to
not talking about that. We are talking only patient of mechanism of breathlessness in right heart failure. Specific.
Sir, low muscle hypothesis because of increased RVEDP, sir. That leads to
No. Okay, we move on to the next one. Jhala,
Yes.
please take over.
Yeah.
On general examination,
General
the
examination.
pulse. Yeah. Please go ahead. Jhala.
Okay. It's a regular low volume, late peaking pulse, no radial or radiofemoral delay. The respiratory rate is normal type of respiration. Blood pressure is 100/70. Upper lip is not much different. JVP is 2 centimeters above the sternal angle, 45, and A and B waves are visible with normal descents, normal respiratory variation, and abdominal reflux is absent. There is mild pallor. There is no sinuses, clubbing, icterus, or edema. Lymph nodes are not enlarged.
Moving on. Saurabh, the first question is,
yes, sir.
you know that the patient has JVP which is raised. Both the A wave and the V waves are perceivable in this particular patient. Is
Yes,
there
sir.
any correlation between the jugular venous pressure and the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure? If so, what is it?
Yes, sir. There
And
is
if
a
not, what is
correlation
the cause?
between.
Sorry?
No, and if not, then what is the cause?
Yes.
Pulmonary capillary wedge pressure.
Is there any is there any correlation
No.
between JVP and the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure? I say yes.
No, sir.
You say no.
No, sir. No, sir. No, it is not.
I say
there,
yes.
sir. I mean,
I say yes. There is a correlation between the two.
No, sir. 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 No, sir.
I say yes, there is a correlation between the two.
No, sir, I don't think there is a correlation. There is a correlation between JVP and right ventricle or right atrial. Likely, sir.
So in your thinking, JVP reflects only the right-sided events, is it?
Usually, yes, sir,
Saurabh.
right-sided events. Sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Saurabh, what
Yes,
is
sir.
in a general population above 60 years, for example, what is the commonest
Hmm.
cause of hypertension, pulmonary hypertension? I'm not
Pulmonary
talking about this
hypertension.
In a
Yes, sir.
person who is
He's talking about without valvular heart disease or anything. Yeah.
without valvular heart disease, general population over the age of 60, many of them will be hypertensive. They have mild to moderate pulmonary hypertension, quite a few of them. What is the cause?
Sir, obstructive lung diseases.
That's one. Then
Atherosclerotic changes in the vessels, sir.
What
the
atherosclerotic?
commonest cause of pulmonary hypertension in an unspecified elderly population is left heart disease,
Yes.
diastolic
Yes, sir.
dysfunction. So then
Yes.
there
Yes,
has
sir.
to be a correlation. Many of these people are in congestive heart failure.
Yes, sir.
So then there has
Yes.
to be a correlation between the pulmonary wedge pressure and the. There are certain situations where it correlates, certain situations where it doesn't. That's what Dr. Ajit Desai is asking you.
Yes. So you are not familiar. We'll go on to the next question. How do you perform the hepatojugular reflux, and what should be prevented by performing it, and why?
We have to instruct patient, make patient lie in the sitting position with abdominal relaxed with
You take
lying,
the
supine,
hepatojugular
supine.
reflex in the patient is sitting up.
No, supine position, sir. I said supine. Making
Okay.
patient in
You said
supine
sitting.
position.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, by sleep. With mid-flex lower limbs to relax the abdomen. You place your right palm over the below the anterior-abdominal wall below the xiphoid and press it for 10 seconds. 10 seconds, which likely to give the response. There is a elevation of jugular venous column or pressure and making prominent of the waves.
What are you
And,
going to
sudden-
instruct the patient?
They should not be deep breathing, or patient should avoid the deep breathing.
More than deep breathing, what is it? Deep breathing does not make any difference.
Don't contract the abdominal wall per se. Sometimes
So what do you basically want to prevent?
Sir, sometimes the sudden palpation might patient throwing a vasovagal episode, sir, likely. To avoid that, we can increase the relaxation.
Not at all. Not at all. The idea
we are
is to
wondering-
prevent that the patient does not perform an Valsalva maneuver. Okay.
And
Yes,
what is
sir.
a safer area to press? Not the epigastrium, which is
Not the epiphyseal, not below the epigastrium.
No, that's
Hypochondrium.
not a good area. Which
Hypochondrium.
which
Right
hypochondrium or
hypochondrium.
which?
Right hypochondrium.
So you have to be
Saurabh.
specific.
Saurabh, if
Yes,
there
sir.
is a tender liver and you press
Yeah.
on the right hypochondrium, patient will immediately perform Valsalva maneuver.
Exactly.
The safest area to press is left iliac fossa. Then
And build up
gradually
the
come
pressure.
up if you don't.
Yes, and then build up the pressure.
Then build up the pressure. That
Okay.
is the best area.
Okay, sir.
Saurabh, tell us what are the causes of Canon A waves?
Sir, there are canon waves, large canon A waves,
Causes.
likely because of
I am asking you specific
complete
questions.
heart block.
Answer specific.
Regular, sir, regular or irregular. Regular
Yeah.
because of junctional tachycardia, irregular because of complete heart block, and
Yeah, regular and the irregular. Complete heart block. Anywhere else? The irregular Canon waves?
sir, with a variable AV block, sir, there can be the irregular.
So Jala will ask you the question: which are the conditions in which you get variable AV blocks?
Yes.
All right, moving forward, how do you differentiate from prominent or giant AVs from a Canon wave?
Last 15 minutes, Ajit.
Yes, we'll go ahead fast.
Hmm.
Is there a way you can differentiate? Do you know how to differentiate?
So we can differentiate definitely, but I don't know.
But you don't know. All right, moving. Which artery do you palpate for the pulsus parvus et tardus, and why? What is the pulsus parvus et tardus?
Late peaking, slow rising pulse, which is the
Slow
characteristic of
rising,
severe
late peaking.
late peaking pulse, which is likely
Yeah.
because of the severe aortic stenosis.
You're not
Sir,
asking that. Why? Which artery do you palpate for the pulsus parvus et tardus, and why?
Sir, radial artery, sir, radial or brachial artery, which palpate.
No, there
Radial
are
or
many other
brachial?
arteries, sir. You have to give us one or two arteries. You can't give
Specific
us-
answers.
Yes.
And why do you do that?
Sir,
Okay, we don't have much time. Go on.
sir, because
What is the apex pulse deficit? And what are the causes and mechanisms of apex pulse deficit?
the rate of the apex pulse
Saurabh,
deficit occurs
Saurabh,
in
Saurabh.
the atrial fibrillation, sir. Yeah, because of every
Will occur only in atrial fibrillation?
or ventricular premature complexes, sir, which are not able to deliver till the to make the fill the because of low or small LV volume, sir, or stroke volume.
Okay. Move on to the other one, not fully answered. Normally, what happens to the pulse and the systolic blood pressure after a ventricular premature beat, and why?
After ventricular premature premature contraction, sir, there is a decrease in the stroke volume and increase in the pulse
I'm
pressure.
talking
sir.
about what happens to the
Systolic pressure
pulse
is-
and the systolic blood pressure after a ventricular premature beat.
Not during the ventricular premature beat.
Not during the ventricular premature beat, please.
The increase pulse volume and increase systolic blood pressure after ventricular premature contractions.
Why does it happen?
Because, sir, the LV is not fully empty after at the time of the ventricular premature complex, and after that next bit comes, which increases the stroke volume, and completely LV emptying increases the volume as well as increase systolic blood pressure, sir.
So what happens to the pulse pressure?
Blood pressure widens, sir. Widens.
Why? Why? Only because of increase in the stroke volume, or something else also happens?
No, sir, there is a
All right,
decrease
moving to the
in
next
the-
one. What are the fallacies of measuring the lower limb blood pressure?
Sir, the curve size is important. Curve size
Is the curve
can
size, yeah.
yes. Then
What are,
second,
what are the ways in which you decide what is going to be the right cuff size for a patient? Adults, we are talking only of adults. I am not talking about pediatric.
sir, there should be at least 80% of length and 40% of width should be width
What do you
for
mean,
the
what
curve size, sir.
What are you comparing it with? What are you 40% of what width are you talking about?
Sir, upper limb cuff, we can use it for the popliteal artery pressure, but not the.
No, you have to tell us what is the criteria about how do you measure the blood pressure, not accepted. And what, okay, we move on to the next one. What is the fallacy of the Hill sign? Quickly, Saurabh. Is heel sign foolproof?
No, sir, it is not. But
Then what are the fallacies? Okay, going on. Further, inspection and palpation. Apex beat is seen in the left fifth intercostal space, just medial to the midclavicular line, heaving in nature. No other pulsation, scar, dilated veins visible over the precordium. Left parasternal heave present grade 2. Palpable P2 in the left second intercostal space. Systolic thrill present in the second right intercostal space. There is an apicocarotid delay. Percussion, second left intercostal space is dull, greater than 1.5 centimeter lateral to the left sternal border. Right cardiac border, retrosternal and left border corresponds to the apex. Yada,
Yes.
please take over. Hemodynamic correlation of palpable S4 in aortic stenosis and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Some mic is on.
Can we have all the mics off, please? There's a lot of disturbance.
I have
Some
a
mic is
feeling
on,
it is, I think it is Ajit's mic which is giving trouble.
Is that mine? No. I'm not changed at all.
Just put it off and see what happens.
Oh, now it's okay. I have not done anything.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Right. So what is the correlation between
Devanshi, please. If your
Sir,
mic is on, please
when-
switch it off.
What is the
When there
hemodynamic
is a-
correlation for palpable S4 in aortic stenosis or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy?
in aortic
Yes.
stenosis, it suggests the severe aortic stenosis when there is a S4 present in aortic stenosis.
No, we
so
are
there is
asking
no
about what is the hemodynamic correlation.
hemodynamics
The aortic
talks about
stenosis-
gradients and pressures.
gradient more than 70, sir, when palpable S4 in aortic stenosis, sir.
Not more than 60?
More than, yes, sir.
How do you categorize the severity of aortic stenosis on the basis of gradient?
So mean gradient,
Mean gradient or peak gradient?
Yeah.
Okay, go on to the next question. What do you mean by heaving apex? How do you assess this practically?
sir, apex sustain for more than 50% of diastole.
Diastole?
Sorry,
Or
systole. More than 50% of the systole is considered to be a heaving apex.
So how do you know
and
that
we-
it is more than 50% of the, how do you assess this practically?
Sir, palpating apex and correlating with S1, sir.
No?
S1, so
No. You have to
No.
use
10 minutes.
Something else. Okay, 10 minutes more. Next question. What is the significance of systolic thrill in the second right intercostal space in severe aortic regurgitation?
don't know.
Okay. What are the causes of pulsation in the second, third, left intercostal space parasternally? Pulsation, sir?
Yes. Aortic aneurysm, sir. Aortic aneurysm.
Going to the third intercostal space?
left, second, and third. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Left, second, and third intercostal space parasternal.
Sir, dilate.
Okay, we move on. What are the causes of dullness in the second left intercostal space?
Pulmonary artery dilatation, sir.
Is that the only one?
Then left atrial enlargement huge left atrial enlargement can
That
cause.
is the last thing I will think of.
Left atrium is a
Then-
posterior structure. It never comes
It's
anywhere.
the
in your
last
brain.
ever thing we can think of, even by the stretch of imagination.
Sir,
Okay, next, we
That
don't
is because
have
of
much time.
aorta
Okay, yeah, aorta, yeah.
dilated or
What aorta?
aortic
What aorta?
aneurysm also.
Yeah, aortic aneurysms. What else?
Yes. Then,
Okay, moving on.
sir, in DT shunt.
In the S1 is loud. The
Yes.
S2 component P2 is loud in the second left intercostal space, heard even at the apex with a narrow split A2. Narrow split. A2 is soft. S3, S4 is absent. Opening snap is present. S2OS interval is short. No click present. Murmurs. Grade 2, low pitched mid diastolic rumbling murmur located to the apex, localized to the apex, best heard in the left lateral position, with breath held in expiration, with opening snap present with pre-systolic accentuation of the murmur. A mixed frequency crescendo, decrescendo, loud murmur, peaking in late systole of grade 4/6 intensity, best heard in the second right intercostal space, radiating towards the carotid. Soft blowing high-pitched early diastolic murmur in the left third intercostal space parasternal, best heard in sitting position, leaning forward with the breath held in expiration. So the question for you is, how do you judge the severity of mitral stenosis?
A2OS interval, sir.
No, I'm not talking about A2OS. I'm talking about how do you in general judge the severity of mitral stenosis?
Start from everything, not just from
Not
auscultation.
from, this is a general question I've asked you. Don't start only with S2OS and all those things.
Yeah,
Okay,
start immediately from everywhere.
Immediate.
Sir, from breathlessness, sir. Patient class 3, class 4
Symptoms, yes, symptoms, yes,
Then,
okay.
Then second thing, there is a loud S1. Then
Forget, again you're coming to this thing. What happens to the other things?
in the parasternal, there is a pulmonary
What about
hypertension, there
palpitations?
is
What
HAVE.
about palpitations? Palpitations tells you about atrial fibrillation. So atrial fibrillation tends to occur in severe
What about-
mitral stenosis.
What about JVP?
Yes, sir. A prominent V wave. Prominent
Ah,
V
so-
wave. Yes.
Raised
Yeah.
JVP evidence of
Raised,
right heart
yes.
failure itself is, yeah.
Yes.
Next.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then what are the thing? What happens to the pulse?
Pulse will be, sir. Low volume pulse, sir.
Mhm.
But more
Then,
likely that atrial fibrillation will be
What about
detected.
atrial fibrillation? Irregularly irregular?
Yes, irregular, long-standing. It suggests long-standing mitral valve disease, maybe.
Not necessarily. Anyway.
Not, why not? Why not? Short,
Persistent.
my,
No, persistent with high
minutes.
incidence of atrial fibrillation.
okay, let's go to the next
Yes.
one. What are the
S2,
fallacies
then-
of S2OS interval in mitral stenosis?
The A2OS interval in atrial fibrillation, there will be difficult to comment about short and long cycles.
No, we are talking about fallacies of A2OS interval in mitral stenosis. Specific questions, specific answers.
Opening snap may not be there when there is a valve is already
No, we are talking
calcified.
we are talking about opening snap is there. We are talking about you are finding an A2OS interval. What are the fallacies of that in mitral stenosis? In other words, what can alter the S2OS interval?
So
Okay,
what
the
I'm
next
trying-
one.
what we- Huh.
Yeah, sorry.
No, what
Sorry.
we're trying to ask is, if the short A2OS interval is there, but there is no tight mitral stenosis, what is the height?
Associated with other valvular lesions like severe mitral regurgitation, or already there is a LV dysfunction which causing to raise
So what
LV.
are the other situations which alter the S2OS interval is the question I am asking.
Severe aortic stenosis.
No.
Itself
Okay.
can
What is the Wills index?
Sir, S1Q interval minus A2S interval, that is Wells index.
So this
Which
basically
is-
was done, this basically was done to take off the fallacies in the S2OS interval. Okay, next question. How do you differentiate between A2OS and an S2 split?
So A2OS usually heard all over the precordium, more basically, and S2
A2OS
likely
is heard.
more.
A2OS is heard all over the precordium.
Okay,
Best
time
at
over.
apex. Best
Okay.
at apex.
Okay, okay.
You're
Just
out of time.
running through the question, how do you assess the
Yeah,
severity
please.
of mitral stenosis with A2S interval and the murmur in atrial fibrillation? Presence of paradoxical split of S2 in the absence of severe aortic stenosis. What will happen to the signs of aortic stenosis in the presence of severe mitral stenosis and why? What is Harvey's formula and what is Harvey's sign? What will happen to the MS murmur in Valsalva? Why? What is the square wave response in Valsalva? As far as the questions is, what do you expect in the ECG to corroborate your diagnosis?
Sir,
We
left
echo how-
atrial enlargement with
Out of your time is over. Unfortunately. Let him
Okay.
just finish.
How do you judge the severity of mitral stenosis? I mean, severity of aortic stenosis in the presence of severe AMS on 2D echo, and in low flow, low grade aortic stenosis. What is the echo Doppler assessment? How do you do the echo Doppler assessment? Okay, thank you.
Ajit,
Thank you very much, Ajit and Jala. We'll now move to Dr. Satyavan Sharma and Dr. Hema Kulkarni. And the presenter, please. Sanjay, could we have Dr. Satyavan Sharma as the presenter, please? Yes, sir. Could you share your screen, sir?